All right, hello and welcome to the Red Pill News Dispensary. Once people start coming in, you guys can just give me a well, let's see. All right, so today what we're going to be talking about is the situation in Virginia for the most part. But we're going to be talking about many other things. But all of these things, in one way or another, have something to do with the situation in Virginia. I have found so many, it's almost eerie how many things are happening that I see in relation to this happening, whether it's directly attributed to what's going on in Virginia or whether it's directly contributed to potentially taking advantage of all the distractions, including Virginia and the impeachment trial and all this stuff going on. We have a lot basically going. Now, can someone tell me the notifications go out? That's what I was worried about, is that notifications would not go out. But if you guys could let me know, I would appreciate it. I'll be able to tell right now. But yeah, so basically, what we're gonna be talking about, it's the show is based on the situation in Virginia. I'm gonna give you a lot of I'm gonna give you guys a lot of information as far as I'm sorry, a lot of information as far as what to expect, um, as well as right now, mind you, these the rallies are letting out, and I'll tell you, I just want to apologize also for being later than I said, but it was totally out of my control. We ended up having, she had a lot more that she planned on doing. And then once I did drop her off, I ended up realizing, oh no, I forgot to do something, so I had to go take care of that. Then all of a sudden I get home and Amanda's like, wait, no, we need milk and pull-ups and some food. So I had to go back grocery shop and came back. Anyways, then I had a nightmare setting up the lights. The lights don't want to stay on. I finally just put a new bulb in. Um, but I don't even think it's the bulb. I think it's the wiring in this lamp. But we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully it holds. How's the sound, guys? 5x5? And also, it looks like maybe notifications didn't go out. Let me see. That would be really unfortunate. Yep, no notification. On my Wise Guy channel, I got no notification for a big show like this. Oh man. I mean, what am I gonna do? It's Virginia. I have to do it today. I have to do it right now. The rallies are letting out as we speak. So I'm just gonna do the show anyway. So hopefully people check and see that I'm live. But it's gonna be a small crowd. Notifications did not go out. I just checked my Wise Guy bets and no notifications. So you know what? That really pisses me off. All right, so wow, that pisses me off, man. So, anyways, all right, I've been holding on the wrong side. So with what's going on, I'm just gonna go ahead as if people got notifications. It's not gonna get the views it should, and I put a lot of effort into this. You know, I just wish that those shows this morning I didn't waste notifications on that. But sound good? Sound good? Is that 5x5 for the sound? AJ? Sound good? Or if not, louder, too loud. With the windscreen, it should be clear. It should sound good. It's just a matter of how loud. Because even with the headphones in, I'm not getting feedback. Which is, I don't understand why that's happening. So I don't even need these headphones. So sound, yeah, is it good? Yes or no? And if not, louder, Is it too loud? Need to be louder, or is it good? Is it like 5x5? And then we can get the show on the road. And while I wait to hear on that, I'll just continue speaking and basically say that's basically this show, like I said, is centered around Virginia. Except there's many different things about Virginia that we're going to look into. Like, okay, well, there's a lot of coincidences that Philly, no, because you'll knock over the whole equipment. Lay down there. Lay down there in your dog bed. Philly. Hey! Lay down. Lay down. Please. Alright. Alright, uh okay, yeah, so a lot of coincidences came out of this. And I don't think it's a coincidence. Now, coincidences that have to do directly related to what's going on. So sound is good. Okay. Directly going on, directly to what's going on with Virginia, or they are obvious distractions, or actually, I should say, this whole thing in Virginia, as well as what's going on with the impeachment and everything else, is the distraction, and some of the stuff I'm showing you is a sign of things to come. So I think you guys are really gonna enjoy this show. By the way, AJ, I'm happy. You're a great contributor to the show. I'm happy it's your first time catching me live. That's great. Um, okay, so yeah, but anyone coming in, it's just people who happen to check. But yeah, no notifications went out. So that's really unfortunate. So you know what? If you guys can do me a favor, if you guys to share this on every platform you can, all that. And anybody watching this, I never say subscribe. Just if you like the content and you want to hear more from the Red Pill here at the Red Pill Dispensary, aka Red Pill News Dispensary. Please, subscribe if you like what you see. But for you guys, please share this on as many platforms as possible, and make sure to like it, and hopefully we can get it at least being seen. And now that I know there's no notifications, it makes me see Philly. You gotta stop. I can't. I almost want to change the title now. You know what? All right. So what do you guys think right now about hello Mocknot? How you doing? For a quick hello. How you doing? Um okay. Okay. So basically, here we go. What I'm gonna do real quick. This dog keeps. All right. I'm actually gonna change one quick thing about the title, and then we're gonna dive right into it. I already have it all up, so we'll get right into it. But I need to, in order to try to get viewers, I'm gonna have to just make it, a better title, something like live coverage of that type of thing. Wait 1 second. All right, here we go. So we will make it. I'll just switch the beginning. I'll take what's at the end and put it at the beginning. Live streaming. That's another thing too. Already demonetized the video, by the way. Already demonetized the video, as always. I mean, no big surprise here, trust me. Alright, shot her around the world. I'm just going to start it with live coverage VA, because we will be doing that as well. Alright, so just bear with me, because if there's no notifications, I gotta do something. I put way too much effort into this. Live coverage in VA. No, that didn't. Okay. Alright, almost. Alright, that should do it. Oh, come on. What else do I do? Alright, that should be good. If that doesn't work. Alright, here we go. I think we're in business. So the changes are being saved. That should be good. Come on, save. As soon as I get confirmation that it is in fact saved. Couldn't save. What is it now? What is it? Unknown error? Well, that doesn't make any sense. Save changes. Alright, good. Okay. Tags. I'm sorry, guys. I wanted to get live ASAP, and I didn't expect. Well, I was thinking that there was a possibility. If you guys are watching this, the replay, just skip forward 1 minute, and I'll be ready. Virginia. Gun control. And the last one I'll do is distractions. Yeah, I'll do coincidences too. I'll just do distractions because that is the coincidence. And you guys will know what I mean in 1 second here. So, okay, good. That's good. Boom. Save that. That goes through. Okay, all changes saved. Good. Sorry, guys. I gotta do this. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Shoot that, and I should be all done now. All done. Okay. So like I said, 1 minute. All right, good. All right, guys. Sorry about that. Okay. Now, all right, let's get into this. So basically, like I said, this is going to be covering the Second Amendment. It's going to be covering Virginia. All right, it's going to be covering live the happenings there. And then also, I'm going to give my 2 cents on the whole situation. Also, we're going to be going over is something that sometimes I sound like I'm beating a dead horse, but it's for a reason. Is this being used as a distraction? Is this being used? I'm also seeing a lot of coincidences. Now I'm seeing coincidences that go with the rally and coincidences that support that this could be part of a big distraction, along with, of course, the impeachment, which we all know is going to go nowhere. And she held those articles for so long, and I don't know how many people saw the first episode of Bill Maher for the season, but it was just on the other night, Friday night, and Nancy Pelosi was the first guest, the one who sits in the chair at the beginning, and they had a planned speech. It's the first time she's actually seemed coherent. I've ever seen her actually seem coherent and know what was going on, which shows me that they've been planning. And it's funny, they keep on talking about there has never been a trial like this, an impeachment trial without witnesses. But then they don't say the rest of it. There's never been. Yes, that's true. Yet at the same time, there's never been a trial where they don't where they have it in the Senate. Every time you use the House to do stuff like that, in order for them to go forward and impeach. And she said, once you're impeached forever. And she doesn't just so mean that, like, oh, if he impeaches and is forced to leave. No, she means that since the House impeached him, even if he gets off, he's considered impeached forever. Which is really dirty tactics, because you know what? The people who are supposed to be calling the witnesses are the House. And yeah, I remember clearly, which is Meadows, along, no, well, in particular, Collins out of South Carolina, I believe, or Georgia. He was talking about how, listen, we have witnesses we want to call. We can't call any witnesses. Schiff basically didn't give us all of the most vital information, and then the night before turning it in, had all this information in there that we never got to see, and so there was a lot of shady stuff done. And but so Q has been posting lately, and he was posting before, and according to Q, this is all part of a plan. Now, in order to have a plan like that, and I think that part of what the Dems are trying to do is mess up that plan, or they realize that the plan is timing. It's all about timing, and it has a set schedule. So they're basically testing the president, the Q team, the Republicans on their resolve and how well they've planned. And I think that's part of the reason why she held that for 3 weeks, over 3 weeks even. Like, think about it. If, let's say that you knew you were going to jail no matter what, or your friends are going to jail, or maybe both of you and your friends, I mean, this is the type of level that these people are at. What are you going to do? And it's inevitable. You're going to do your best to take out the one person who's basically making it all happen. Well, they've been trying that for years. And also, you're going to try to delay it as much as possible, especially if you think it's like a timing thing. which it seems to be with Q. And that might be part of the reason for his absence. It's like as soon as they announced that they were going to hold on to these articles, he didn't post again. Now they got the articles out and this thing's about to begin. And then at the same time, this whole thing in Virginia goes down. And guys, Virginia is no secret to these crazy Democrats. I don't know what's going on in Virginia. I understand that, like Northern Virginia, a lot of people who work for the government, especially under Obama, made so much money that actually per household, it's the richest place in the country. Right south, like right on the outskirt of DC in Northern Virginia, that's the richest area per household. I thought it would be like something like Cambridge, Massachusetts, with all the Harvard, MIT. That's where I was born. Um, and like hospitals and all this great stuff. So you would think it'd be somewhere like that, or Silicon Valley, or even San Francisco. But no, it's actually Northern Virginia, or at least as of 2 years ago it was. I believe it still is. If it's not, then it's like number two. But I'm pretty sure it's still number one. Oh, holding it the wrong way. All right. So here's what I got as far as first of all, let's just start with this. So I'm gonna have to screen share. All right. First, let me say hello to some of you guys. All right. AJ McLaughlin, what's up, brother? Happy you made it. Sunshine State, how you doing? Mark Knott, even if it's only a short period, thank you for stopping by. Prepper Gal, great to see you. Mickey Mouse Operation, how you doing, brother? Now, where we got, AJ? Disaster Recovery Personnel Protection Act 2006, Congress passed after Katrina confiscations say they can't do red flag bills. But because the red flag laws were an executive order, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, or did he run that through Congress? But those laws are supposed to be standing. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I agree. Like I think the red flag laws are BS. It puts people on lists. Things like someone that from a veteran, because someone could be a veteran for 20 years, have PTSD, and now he's a red flag because of the PTSD, because it's mental health. Jamie McAfee, how are you? I don't know if you have any relation, although it seems like an extra letter in there somewhere. Maybe the double F. Hello, Jamie. West Texas. No, I believe you, AJ. I'm just saying, is it actually, how you doing, West Texas? Is it actually being used? Is that something that's preventing the red flag laws right now? That's what I'm asking. Eminent domain on night vision. Okay, all right. So first, all right. So let's share screen and let's get into some of this material I got. All right. So here we go. First of all, you see the last time he posted was right around the time when she when she started holding those articles. So December 29th, 2019. That's about that time, right? So so last time he posted before this, before last night. And so last night, let's see, what time was it at? Yeah, it was last night, right before midnight, Eastern time. So the first thing he says is the Great Awakening. Q. something we've heard him say before, but it makes me want to type in Great Awakening and see everything that comes up because I bet you it's relevant. Now, here's also what they put. Now, he had originally written this. He's basically just reiterating it. And he basically put this way back January 21st, 2018. So exactly a year ago, to the day, just about. So it says, the shot heard around the world, the Great Awakening, a week to remember. And now this is common. Like I remember back then, people said nothing big even happened. What did he said something big would happen this week? See, Q is fake. But what Q does a lot is what he's writing that, and because this is such military precision, he's actually saying it for the next year or 2 years down the line. I mean, think of it. This is right after he came out, January 21st. That means 2017 had just ended. So this is like when he first came out. This has been in the works. And then I always say, you always look at the time. Look at this, 1428. First of all, 14 goes into 28. That's obviously the time there is 228. I don't know if there's any significance there. I think of where my mind goes is 1 to 2. Like 14 is half of 28, so 1 to 2 or half. Something like that. Something like a half. Sometimes it's not that complicated. Sometimes it's just as simple as it basically says. Only got time on this one. 23, 24, 46. Well, I mean, a lot of smart people will figure these things out. And now one thing I'm curious about checking out. Oh, excuse me. Wait until you guys see all these things that I find coincidences. and like clear reasons for them to and clear distractions, I should say. And what do I say about coincidences? Yeah. So Doug Collins on Mark Levin's show right now. Plane fagging. Oh, I'm very interested in this. This might have something to do with it. Let's keep going. Anon on a 227 time period. Which you guys might understand soon as well. USMC has Anon's thinking on ready. I'm not a big fan of that USMCA, to be honest with you. USMCA, I mean. Did I say USMCA? USMCA. Interesting. Um, WSG op-ed, the Comey cover-up unravels. Okay, so I'm going to check out this plane stuff. This is what interests me right now. Oh, it's not letting me. So they don't want this stuff out, man. That's the thing. They do not want this stuff out. We got 345, 312. Alright, let's get out of here because you know what? They're not going to let us navigate that page. I'm very curious to see that, and I'll show you guys why. So, alright, I know that it's letting out right now, so before I get to all my points, first I want to pull up actual footage of them there right now. And just show you some of the action of the day and some of the action going on right now. to see something live. Nothing live. Maybe most of it's over. Shoot. Is it more of a rally or a protest? Again, not that much live. Let me just try one last thing. Alright, so here we go. This won't be live, but it'll give you a short version of what to check out. And if I'm not mistaken, alright, in order for this to work, I'm going to have to go like this. Hello? Can you hear me now? Hello? Can you hear me now? Wow. So that whole... What a waste. Hello? Can you hear me now? Wow. Alright. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what happened. I guess because I had this line. You guys can almost hear this. Amanda, she's waiting for you.
to support the rights of Virginia gun owners, who in turn will hopefully protect the rights of some of you wonderful people who came here from other states to protect us. This concludes Lobby Day 2020. I look forward to seeing you next year. Same thing, Martin.
From the Civil War to World War I and World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Desert Storm, and present conflicts, brave men and women have fought and died and answered the call for freedom. We've fought these battles before. Now, instead of sending an army, the government is sitting in this house that you built and trying to legislate away your rights. We will not stand for it. This time with wars past behind us, let us use our voices to proclaim freedom loudly again and let them know they will not disarm us. James Madison, the crafter of the Constitution, believed our freedoms would more likely be gradually and silently encroached upon than violently taken away. These men in power are trying to silence encroachment and take away our rights, hoping that the people would be too complacent and too lazy to stand against them.
Amanda, just
We're
go.
not either lazy
Just put on sandals. Put on sandals. I don't care. Come on.
We won't
Yes,
stand for
yes. You know how late you are? It's like crazy. You'll be in the car
We
the whole
won't stand
time.
idly by and watch our Constitution and our rights that
Hey, here she is. I'm gonna tell you just left.
have shed their blood and died for.
No, I'm gonna say you left a while ago.
Let's stand in solidarity and use our voices to let people in this capital know we will not let them take our rights away. President Ronald Reagan said it best.
This is like way
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction.
What are you talking
We
about?
didn't pass it on
She
through the
asked me.
bloodstream.
I was gonna do a show. And she
It
was
must
like,
be
I
fought
wanna go
for
shopping.
and protected
I was like, then
and
go
handed
shopping. I said,
to our children
I
for
was
them
like,
to do
but
the
then
same.
she was like, well, I'll pick her up. I can see
We
the
must
time.
be
It's 4:15.
vigilant.
4:15.
We must
Well,
be
I'm sure
united,
she'll be there soon.
and we must stand tall
I'm sure she'll
and
go
speak
inside.
loudly.
Go inside.
As the heart cannot tell the lungs, I have that you have cancer, but I do not, so it's
She
none of my
promised me
affair.
that she would be
Neither
there.
can we stand by from California
Listen, this isn't
to
normal.
Texas,
This isn't
all the
normal.
way to
Something
Maine
must,
and
I
all
hope
states
that
in
everything's
between,
okay. That's
and
all
say
right.
that
Hey,
it is
listen,
none
I
of
just
my
hope
affair.
everything's okay. It's 4:16. It makes
It
no.
affects all of
Well,
us.
I'm worried about the
The
content.
world is watching right now to see what we'll do. Let it never be
wow,
said
thanks,
that
yeah.
it is my generation
Cause she's listen. All I'm thinking
that
about
failed
right
to
now is
stop
why is
all
she
this tyranny. That it was my generation that let it down for my children, my grandchildren, and my
You
great-grandchildren.
should be more worried
And even
about
their children.
why she isn't there.
We have three boxes in which to defend our freedom, it's been said. The first box is the soapbox.
Amanda.
We stand on today and speak and
Amanda.
say everybody hears. The second
Hey.
box is the ballot box. November,
You have no idea what she just said to me.
register and vote.
She's like telling her like never again, all this
Third
stuff.
and final box is the cartridge box.
She swore on my father that never again with the car. So thank you.
Away from using the cartridge box because it's the last ditch
Will you just go? She's in the cold waiting for you.
moment.
Like, what is it with you and like?
Need to let everybody know today,
Oh, well.
including the people in this building, we
Yeah, I know.
are not the aggressors
You
here.
know, I have to have it. You know.
We are here
I can't
coming
really
in
avoid
peace.
it,
We
but
are not the
I can
aggressors.
always meet them, like,
But we will
You know,
not comply
that
with
people can't hear the
bans,
speech.
registration, or
But I
confiscation.
just can't believe it, man. It's like-
We will not comply.
That's right! Here we go!
We
Listen to that.
We as
What?
legal gun owners as citizens. We have our
Oh,
backs
then I
against the
told
wall.
them one thing, and
We
it's
will
a different
not
thing.
negotiate
If
anymore.
they use
It's
that,
time
I
to
could
take it
care
back.
less. I mean, it really.
No more negotiations. If they come to our homes
All right,
to
Mike.
take our arms
All right,
and to
bye.
infringe on our freedoms and violate our freedom, they are the aggressors. They cannot come into our homes. They are the aggressors. And we will stand together. Thank you for standing with me today. God bless Virginia.
All right!
God bless the United States of America. We stand together.
Well done. USA! 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 No more gun control! No more gun control!
I want to thank President Elster, Leland Howard, and the line.
Yeah, that was a private conversation. Sorry, I just didn't want you guys to miss out on the speech.
And the members
See, a
of
good
Congress
speech.
this morning, and to all of you who came here peacefully to support the rights of Virginia gun owners, who in turn will hopefully protect the rights of some of you.
Now you guys just heard what that man said, peacefully, and that's basically been something that I've been stressing for a long time now. Is that I was worried that they were, and you know what? This is what they were trying to do. They were trying to make the people of Virginia react. And when I say react, I mean react without using their heads and using violence. And then, all right, well, that became pretty apparent to me because it just makes sense. That's what they would want. Yet, when they didn't do that, look what happened. It ended up going in their favor as far as, public opinion. Opinion started shifting because they were having a peaceful protest that was well organized by the NRA as well as grassroots groups as well. But, on YouTube, I've seen people talking about, I'm going to bring my gun. And then they make it, this is just a more of like something this past week. They passed something saying that between certain dates, and this is obviously smack dab in the middle of those dates, that anybody, even if you have even if you can have a license to carry, you cannot bring your gun, forget about into the Capitol building or right outside. No, anywhere in that Capitol area, you can't have your weapons. And they say they didn't want another Charlottesville, even though that was more with a car than a gun, but whatever. I mean, they're gonna try to do whatever they can. And by telling them that they can't do it, I was worried that people would do it in spite of it because it is their right. But sure enough, it looks like people did not go armed. They didn't fall for their trap. And that makes me very happy because I think they were trying to set a trap. Now, on top of all this, I also think this is all part of a distraction as well. But, there's always more than one agenda. It's like a multifaceted agenda and basically, two birds or one stone type of thing. But anyways, let's continue to hear some of this, and then we're going to get into some of these things I'm talking about.
Wonderful people came here from other states to protect us. This concludes Lobby Day 2020. I look forward to seeing you next year. Same thing, Martin Luther King's birthday.
Oh yeah, one thing that's of note to mention. People are making this like an out of nowhere thing. Well, when I say people, I mean the media. This is something that happens every single year. This is an annual event, as the man just said. But that's something I meant to mention at the beginning. This is an annual event, yet you wouldn't know it watching the media. All right, so let's continue.
Great afternoon, and have a safe trip home. Thank you so much, folks.
Again, no sound. Try to see if I can find some sound. I want to hear sound from the other side.
I used to manage my team with scripts.
It seems like the last one we listened to was more of a, right leaning that support the Second Amendment. This seems to be more so left leaning and trying to. Well, no, it's roughly actually. Let's see. And then, so we'll do this one, but not the whole thing, obviously. We just, bits and pieces that look good. And then we'll show you something extremely left wing. Confederate flag. Yeah, this is another right leaning. Roughly, as soon as I have roughly, we'll get one left leaning. That's what I want. I want to get both sides. So we heard one side. Um, I know where to go for that. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. Huh. I'm surprised. What's the Patriot soapbox got?
Supporting him even as they suffered financial.
But the Patriot, like me, can admit that now.
But here was a good one, and thank you, God.
Alveda King, thank you, Mo.
Alveda, thank you so much. Sorry. I know, some days it's just because I'm in front of a camera. There goes my brains.
I've really gotten well over 260 pounds, and that's what I did. I put faith in it, and then
Here we go.
The arrest of 3 alleged white supremacists is raising alarms ahead of a gun rights rally in Richmond, Virginia. The state's
I
governor
think
says
they
there's
saw that they were
credible
doing it
intelligence
right,
of
so they
potential
stooped to
violence at
these
Monday's
levels.
event. Jeff Begay
Watch,
is
this
in
will be
Richmond, outside of the
vague,
Capitol.
and I'd
Jeff,
like to
who
follow
are
this
these
up
men?
and see what I find on this.
Well, good morning here at the Capitol. You can see these temporary fences here behind me in place. They've been put in place for crowd control on Monday, a security measure just in case. The arrest of the 3 men, Michelle, is really feeding this narrative that there could be violence here on Monday. In fact, investigators say the 3 men were targeting the event as a way of spreading their
Except there was no violence at all. People didn't even bring their guns,
Thursday paint a picture of
despite
a group
that trap
preparing
they
for
tried to
battle.
set.
Long guns and some appearing to wear fatigues. One of the men, Patrick Matthews, is a Canadian Army veteran who is said to be an explosives expert. American Brian Lemley Jr. is an Army veteran who served in Iraq. The 3rd suspect is American William Bilbrough. The men are alleged members of the Base, a neo-Nazi group that advocates violence
See how they
against
try to scare
minorities,
people?
while
They're trying to
rallying
scare
around
people.
slogans like "Save Your Race." The investigators allege the men
Save
had built
your
a functioning
race.
assault rifle and had recently
probably
bought
talking
more
about
than
the presidential
1,500
race,
rounds of
but
ammunition.
they make it
Attorney
sound
Robert
racial.
Bonsib represents Bilbrough.
I was just appointed to represent this fine young man. He's a 19-year-old young man with no prior record.
The arrests only reinforce concerns. Monday's rally could be a repeat of what happened in Charlottesville in 2017.
Look at it. Automatically, they make it
Governor Ralph Northam's
Charlottesville.
temporary ban on all weapons near Capitol
What did it end up
grounds withstood
being?
a legal challenge
Peaceful.
on Thursday. Monday's rally is related
And
to
effective.
new gun reforms proposed in Virginia's legislature, now controlled by Democrats for the first time in more than 2 decades, that include universal background checks and a once-a-month limit on handgun purchases. Are you concerned that it could escalate into something that you didn't expect?
It's always possible that that could happen.
Rally organizer Philip Van Cleve refuses to call off the event over the arrests.
We will not let them deter
Look,
us.
they're trying to get him to call off the event. The peaceful, effective event.
In court, prosecutors said that one of the men talked about traveling to Ukraine to fight and compared the base to Al-Qaeda. Investigators also say the Canadian man who was arrested was here in this country illegally. Tony.
See what happens Monday, Jeff. Thank you very much.
Well, there you go. There's the narrative, and that's why I'm not finding anything
Age, alcohol, and
out of the
stress all
left,
kill
because
brain
they
cells
realized
and
that
slow memory.
despite
Today I'm going to share one
their best efforts, they were not able to basically they were not able to get these things, you know, everything that they wanted, which is pretty obvious. Also, I saw something, because, like I said, when there's a lot of distractions, there's things that always worry me. Like the United Nations are meeting right now.
In the kitchen, so I
And what I wanted to ask you, Amira, is because you said that children need to be at the table helping to make decisions that affect them. How have you been
Canada's North? And the whole idea is how we can bring young people from Canada's North and South to learn about climate change.
Alright, I think you guys get the gist of it, but it looks like we're going to have trouble with buffering on
From
this.
very different perspectives. The Northerners will work with their elders around learning about climate change from traditional knowledge, while the Southerners have a training around climate policy. And then we bring them together. They teach each other this peer-to-peer learning and collaboration, and then they work together to activate their communities back home on climate action. And so that's our test around how we can bring Canada's North and Southern youth together and really co-create a program with our Indigenous partners.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. We have Dominic and Jenny from the Youth Climate Lab and the Pacific Island Climate Network to join us today at the SDG Medium soon and sharing us of the youth's participation in climate change and also the sustainable investment.
Hai, kaongea kaona ni mwanaume kama mimi, ni kijana kama mimi, akasema tujiunge, tufanye kitu kitatusaidia maisha yetu.
She said, well, it was like 5 minutes ago, I couldn't call you. It was like, well, it's 10, when did we get a phone?
Art is it's something that it's always need to grow. When
she's been, hey,
you don't have a space, a place where to
but I will
feel
never,
you,
hey, I
you
will
can
never
express
trust
yourself,
her
you know.
with a car again.
You can't make that art of yours to moving up,
I will
and
never
your art,
trust her again.
when it's not moving, I'm not sure if it can help you to survive.
احنا وعدنا يعني ما عارفين مخالفين مشان العمارة مع بعض.
كمفوضية نحن كنا عم نشتغل مع المجتمعات المحلية، كنا عم ننسق مع جميع الجهات المختصة كرمال نوفر حلول بديلة تساعد العائلة حتى تسقف على القليلة فوق راسها لحتى تقدر تتأقلم مع الظروف الصعبة اللي هي عم تعيش فيها.
والجمعيات جابونا الخشب وجابونا الغراب طبعا مع المفوضية.
شو فديتوها؟
بس أمي كان أول أمان، يعني تقفلي وتنامي، هلا ما بسترجي تنامي. أنا بتضلي خايفة حدا يدفش الباب ويفوت علينا، نحن كلياتنا حريمين.
Alright, I think you guys get the... I think you guys get the gist of it. I'm not gonna make you guys endure that any longer. Okay, so that's enough with the videos. Let's get to the meat and bones, and I hope everyone's still here. I just thought you guys would want to see actual footage from the rally from, you know, different perspectives. Okay, so let me just make sure. Okay, so yeah, they weren't. I bet you they wanted to do an FF. Now we can argue as to, you know, they couldn't pull out an FF. Well, no, they weren't outgunned because actually they banned weapons from that whole capital area. So it's not that they were outgunned with guns. They were outgunned by basically not reacting the way that they thought they would in the first place. And then when they realized that they were organized, then all of a sudden they tried to, you know, get under the skin a little bit more, supposedly arrest some radicals, which I'd like to hear more on that story. And then they said, just to further antagonize, that no guns will be allowed in that capital area. And once they did that, I was like, oh no. People are still going to show up with guns. That leads to arrests, and then they could say this many arrests, and then God forbid something pops off. And I was just really worried about today. But what I've been saying for the past month now, ever since this stuff started with Virginia and them trying to confiscate the guns and things like that, I said, do not react. because what they do is they run things like, for instance, at Purdue, they have something called the Sentient World Simulation. Look it up. Or we could just look it up right together. I mean, that's possible too. We can just do that. Look, check this out. So they have things like this. And this is like old news. I mean, now with what they got going on with quantum mechanics, as well as AI, they're able to predict the way people will react. And it used to be, cause a problem. You guys know the Hegelian dialect, right? The Hegelian dialect. So basically, it would be like, create a problem, and then offer the solution, and a solution that's already kind of already been put into the works before you even decided what problem you were going to create. And you create the problem based on the solution that you're going to give to the people. Perfect example, 9/11 Patriot Act. Now, either, I don't know, after what was it, 20, not 20. No. It was either anywhere from 2.5 trillion to $20 trillion went missing. Donald Rumsfeld basically said, "I have no idea where it is," and they were having all these hearings about it. You know what the date of that was? September 10th, 2001. Well, then the next day, boom, with Cheney as the vice president, but basically acting president, because basically, I don't think Bush had anything to do with it, to be honest with you, because Bush was on Air Force One just going in circles in the sky, while Dick Cheney was running the show. So, you have a situation like that, and then all of a sudden you introduce the Patriot Act, and I'll tell you, nobody knows more than a crypto who served in that time, and you're speaking to one of them, what the Patriot Act was all about, and the rights that were taken away from Americans. I'm telling you, no one knows more than somebody whose job it is to collect intel, whether it be through different Hold on one second. Sorry about that. Right now, my mother's pretty upset because Amanda's wicked late getting her. I should. Some people are just not good with time. Me, I'm like extremely punctual. Some of you guys might disagree because sometimes I'll be like, "Hey, 1 o'clock is the show," and then we don't start till 3. So yeah, I do understand in that way, but that's only because I have so many people that depend on me, and having to go grocery shopping, and then all of a sudden something else comes up, and then I gotta go talk down to the office, the management building, and then just personal stuff. Anyway, so yeah, so basically that's an example of that. But now they have the technology to predict these things. So Purdue University, although I spelled that wrong, Purdue University. I'm butchering this. World simulation. Sentient World Simulation, SWS, is what I was talking about. And this has been around. Here's a PDF for it. Let's see what else we got for it. Sentient and NSA surveillance. So let's check this out. It's check on you guys. iPad Goat is weird. You know, I wouldn't mind checking out iPad. If you guys want to take a look at iPad Goat, we can do that too. He was reading the book to the school kids. Exactly, yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they were saying plane and then something like that. Yeah. How you doing, Siberian Bear? Long time no see. Mickey Mouse Operation. I don't know who else I missed. But anyway, I gotta get going with this. I think I just saw Hoodoo or Voodoo. Hoodoo or Voodoo. Okay, so 2 trillion. Yeah. 2 trillion. Thank you, AJ. 2 trillion. That's right. So yeah, the wasn't it 2.5 trillion or 2.3? That's what it was. 2.3 or 2.2 trillion. I could look it up real quick. 2.2 or 2.3. Yeah, Jade Helm. That's like a whole different thing. But I'm talking about that. This is what I'm talking about. This thing is unbelievable. It really is. This sentient world simulation, guys. Sentient world simulation, NSA surveillance, exploiting privacy to predict the future. And this is last updated March 19th, but I bet you this was written well before that. One of the major headlines in recent news is Edward Snowden. So you know this is probably from around like 2014, if they're talking about Edward Snowden as recent news. Revelation of documents has proved the U.S. government using high-tech software to gather massive amounts of private information on everyday Americans. Snowden has taken bold action against the government in an effort to publicize the government's violation of constitutional rights and to inform the public as to which is done in their name and that which is done against them. Snowden has offered himself as the main... And by the way, guys, don't think that Snowden's too much of a hero. Once CIA, always CIA. And he was CIA before he was NSA. You know, the NSA are basically like the good guys, kind of, in this whole big thing, despite the huge surveillance project that they got going on. But there are, amongst the intelligence communities, especially like non-military, you know, the ones that need, you know, the fight for their funding, the CIA, you know, NSA, especially those two in particular, because you know FBI is domestic, whereas those two, NSA is foreign and domestic, CIA is foreign. Anyway, so you know, they kind of go back and forth. But before NSA, Snowden was with the CIA, and where was he stationed in the CIA? If I'm not mistaken, it was actually Sweden. I believe it was Sweden. And there's something to that because Q has made reference to that. Anyways, Snowden's off himself to the main opponent in this political debate by revealing himself. We all know the story of Snowden. I want to see about the sentient world simulation. Okay, here we go. All right. The program, based out of University's Synthetic Environment for Analysis and Simulation Laboratory, is called Sentient World Simulation. This 9-page PDF, released by Purdue itself, describes the project in adequate detail. The simulator has taken the spying that Snowden publicized one step further. The program has amassed databases so profound they can now look so deep into a person's life that they can predict their thoughts and future actions with relative certainty. And you think, you're trying to tell me they can predict what I'm going to do? Well, guess what? What they have is a node that represents every single person in the world. And that node is located exactly where it should be. For instance, my node is located just outside of Boston, and it's located in the exact apartment building that I am living in. And it is a veteran. They know a lot about me just because, you know, with the military, you learn a lot about people, especially with that type of job. But even more so, the fact that I'm a YouTuber. I mean, they have hours upon hours. I mean, I've done thousands, probably over 1,000 hours, well over 1,000 hours of just talking and my facial recognition. They got me down to a T. Now a lot of you guys, they use other means. There's so many things that they use that they couldn't use before the Patriot Act that help them feed data into these nodes, and each node is a person, and that person, I don't know, I don't think they give it your name, but it is you. And what they do is they unleash certain events on these people, positive events, mostly negative events, and see how they react. That way, when they make a decision, they can basically predict how people will react. And I think that because the Dems are not in power, however, they do have the deep state, that they probably did use some form of the sentient world simulation, thinking that people would, react in a violent manner, or at least in a aggressive manner, if they were to tell them, if they, first of all, to what started this whole Virginia thing, and then when just the other day they said, by the way, oh, and you can't bring weapons anywhere near the Capitol area. So, I think that they expected a different result, and the right kind of showed them up today. And I'm really proud of that. I've been warning about this for a while. I've been saying, guys, I think about how they're trying to make you react. Do not react the way they want you to. So let's continue to go. Let's continue reading here. The simulator has taken the spying that Snowden publicized. Oh, we already said that. I'm sorry. Although this system is incredibly intrusive, midway through the second paragraph, and raises many moral concerns, it provides valuable insight into questions which could be extremely beneficial. It's unclear as to whether all the private sector efforts towards transparency, including some noteworthy AI projects at Microsoft, will have any effect on the direction and intensity of public sector surveillance. By gathering enough intel, the Sentient World Simulation, acronym SWS, is capable of producing realistic simulations of various different scenarios such as natural disasters, foreign and domestic attacks, resource shortages, and hazardous economic trends. The program, once finished, will utilize, and by now it's finished and then some. You can tell this was written like 5 years ago, so maybe even 6 years ago. So yeah, this is definitely finished, by the way. The program, once finished, will utilize, and now they also have the D wave. They all and the highest form of the D wave, because it gets exponentially better each model, and the AI is as good as it's ever been, obviously. So all right, so predict. So here's the point that I'm trying to drive home. The program, once finished, will utilize the information from its colossal database to create these hypothetical situations, predict possible outcomes. Although they put possible, but really, I mean, this type of technology and the way that they feel about this technology, they basically, you might as well take out possible and just say predict outcomes, and test the effectiveness of various responses. Now you think like, oh, you respond to a bad situation with, the mob. I mean, not the mob. The riot police. No. This can go for anything. You got to really open up your mind and think of how many different things could apply in this situation. Hello? Oh, sorry about that. All right. All right. Researchers hope the system will be able to provide effective answers to complex questions which baffle the most skilled thinkers and will create more efficient methods of responding to catastrophes. Even with the tremendous advantages SWS, Sentient World Simulation, will offer, we must be wary that the NSA, a government program which is top secret and has access to an abundance of private information, does not abuse its authority in violation privacy acts with extracurricular motives. The program must be scrupulously overlooked so that it does not lead other government programs and companies to believe that it is acceptable to disregard moral and ethical code in replacement for efficiency. Sounds like they're kind of saying they hope that maybe the CIA doesn't do that. This sounds like a hit on the NSA from the CIA. In the midst of a technological wave, the inherent ability of humans to use gut feelings to make conscious decisions probably shouldn't be forgotten entirely. Yeah, you think? Probably shouldn't be forgotten. Yeah, a gut instinct. Yeah, we shouldn't forget. Yeah, we probably shouldn't forget about that. Yeah, I don't think so. Your gut instinct is what makes you fair. All these things, learning, all these things help raise our awareness to how dangerous this is. It's very important to have those gut instincts. I can't stress enough how important. Yes, the technology is like unbelievable. Yeah, I see what they mean, but they're overlooking the human condition, in my opinion. Technology and data can be valuable resources in calculating the risks and rewards of important decisions. They should say and political decisions, but no technology can replace human instinct. I beg to differ, but to a point, I would say that's true. But the sentient world simulation does predict. That's the whole point, is to predict human behavior, hence human instinct. While we previously conducted research on the risks of artificial intelligence, the future may require a more robust assessment of how AI is used and the great trade-off of safety and privacy. Well, obviously it was written a while ago because whoever was trying to protect us from AI failed. All right? Because I'll tell you right now that AI is... They unleashed it on the internet, and to this day, they don't know what it was doing. They knew that it was talking to other AI in its own little language. They knew that was going on. So these are things that we need to keep in mind. Sometimes it feels like it's always the elite, and it could be the elite, the ones that are behind the AI. But who says that the AI is even going to listen to the elite? You know what I'm saying? By the way, I'll put that on my Twitter. By my Twitter handle, this is all in the description, but it's Red Pill News Dispenser. Instead of dispensary, dispenser. So Red Pill News Dispenser or at pill_news. All right. So I find that fascinating as far as sentient world simulation. In fact, I think we get something even more fascinating with this. I want to put how... I want to get more details. How does it predict human reaction? Let's see what we get with that search, because that's basically what I want to show you guys. Sentient world simulation. Meet your DOD, Department of Defense clone. Pretty freaky. And this is back in 2013. Look, they got the all seeing eye and the pyramid and the globe. All right. Now this is when it like was first came out. Curious what they say about it.
Somewhere abuses his power of information and surveillance to target an innocent person in the wrong place at the wrong time. To be sure, the power that these technologies give for agencies or corrupt groups within those agencies to destroy the lives of targeted individuals is itself a fitting answer to the question of why government surveillance should be troubling to us.
As a targeted individual
But beyond what
myself,
can happen to specific
I
targeted
totally
individuals
agree.
in such a scenario is a much larger question.
I don't talk about it much, but
What
I'm
if this
targeted,
data,
especially
our
at
emails,
night.
our phone calls, our
Jolt
credit
of
card
electricity.
transactions, our social media posts, our cell phone GPS logs, and all of the hundreds of other pieces of data that
Mind
are
you,
admittedly
this is
being collected on us
2013.
each and every
They were
day,
saying this.
we're being fed
7
into a
years
database
ago.
so gargantuan it contains a digital version of every single person on the planet. And what if that
Told
database
ya.
were being used by the Department of Defense to war game various scenarios, from public reactions to natural disasters to the likelihood of civil unrest in the wake of a declaration of martial law? Remarkably, this is precisely what is happening. It is called the Sentient World Simulation. The program's aim, according to its creator, is to be a continuously running, continually updated mirror model of the real world that can be used to predict and evaluate future events and courses of action. In practical terms, that equates to a computer simulation of the entire planet, complete with billions of nodes representing every person on the Earth.
Yep.
The project is based out of Purdue University in Indiana at the Synthetic Environment for Analysis and Simulations Laboratory. It is led by Alok Chaturvedi, who in addition to heading up the Purdue lab, also makes the project commercially available via his private company, Simulex Inc., which hosts an array of
Fermilab.
government clients, including the Department of Defense and the Department of Justice,
Justice.
as well as private sector clients like Eli Lilly and Lockheed Martin. Chaturvedi's ambition is to create reliable forecasts of future world events based on imagined scenarios. Conspiracy theory just over a decade ago has become, in this post 9/11 era, the all too familiar stuff of newspaper.
I mean, so I don't know if all of you guys thought, any of you guys thought like it was kind of BS what I was saying, but yeah, this is the real deal. And this is stuff known as far back as 7 years ago. But back then, the truth community wasn't what it is now. It's better now, but at the same time, in some ways, it all depends on who you follow. If you follow the wrong people, you get the wrong information. But you're safe here.
Headlines and talking head reportage. In fact, it was about a decade ago that the tactic of the intelligence agencies seemed to change. Instead of keeping their activities classified, referring to the NSA as no such agency, for example,
which is something Q says all the time,
or officially denying the existence of Echelon, the government increasingly began shoving this information in the public's face.
This was the mindset that in 2002 led the Bush administration to dredge up John Poindexter from wherever it was that he was.
All right, you know what?
He was actually they worked for defense contractors and they.
Say, DHS, and other government agencies make simulations gobble up breaking news, census data, economic indicators, and climactic events in the real world, along with proprietary information such as military intelligence. Although not explicitly stated, the very type of data on digital communications and transactions now being gobbled up by the NSA, DHS, and other government agencies make.
Alright, this is bothering me how much, at least this video, just isn't playing the way it should. That must be very annoying for you guys, so I'm not going to have you continue to, you know, hear a few words at a time, then, you know, all that buffering like that. But, I mean, this is what I'm saying. This is crazy. And then meet your DOD clone. For each and every one of us, they have a very accurate node that they run tests on that thinks it's a real person inside of this world simulation. Just to make sure that we're clear on that. I just want to make sure you guys understand that. And what that could potentially mean, and think of the type of things they use.
Welcome. This is James Corbett of PorterReport.com with your eye-opener report for BoilingFrogsPost.com.
Logo, which I actually looked at in the last couple of weeks, and you should go and look at, just because you won't believe how creepy it is.
We began shoving this information in the public's face.
This was the mindset that in 2002 led the Bush administration to dredge up John Poindexter from wherever it was that he was. He was actually they worked for defense contractors, and they dredged him up, and he was going to start the program that they called the Total Information Awareness Program. And the logo, which I actually looked at in the last couple of weeks, and you should go and look at, just because you won't believe how creepy it is, has a pyramid with this huge eye hovering over it. This eye that was going to be the all-seeing eye. And the only problem with the Total Information Awareness Program was that they just put a name on it that was too honest about what it was. And it freaked everybody out, and so they had to pretend that they weren't going to go forward with it. But of course, what they did was they incrementally and in very clear ways recreated the Total Information Awareness Program under a whole variety of different legislative initiatives. And this idea that every single form of technological communication by law must be constructed to permit government backdoor interception and surveillance is an expression of what this surveillance state mindset is, that there can be no such thing as any form of privacy from the U.S. government. That is the mindset that has led the surveillance state to be this sprawling, vast, ubiquitous, and always expanding instrument that state and corporate power users employ in order to safeguard their power.
Perhaps the scariest thing about something like the Total Information Awareness Office is not merely that it was proposed in the first place, or that it incorporated such blatantly creepy Orwellian imagery to convey its true nature and purpose, but that as we sit here 10 years later...
What do you guys think about this sentient world simulation, and how
by the NSA, DHS, and other governmental
there is
agencies,
actually a place
people are now
where there's a node that represents each and every one of us, and they run tests on these things, and they think they're real people, these nodes in a computer system. You know, people, the simulation theory, people say we might be living in a simulation, Well,
famed
these
videos that
things
make
really
moral
are.
midgets inevitably ask,
They definitely
what's so
are.
bad
Who
about
knows?
the
Maybe
government
we are.
spying
I
on
don't
you
think we
anyway?
are, but
The answer, of
some of the
course,
smartest
is
people
that
in
the
the
very
world
question
do.
implies that the agencies tasked with carrying out this constant Big Brother
I mean, what do you
surveillance
guys
are
think about
themselves above
that? About this
reproach, shining
specific
lights of
topic? What do
moral
you guys think
rectitude
about
who would never abuse this
the
incredible
fact
power
that there's
for
a
nefarious
node
ends?
that
For
is
the
you,
unimaginative
that
out
thinks
there,
is alive,
Hollywood
that has
yarns like Enemy of the
tests
State have
being run
provided
on it
fictional
all the
examples of
time
what can
so
go
they
wrong
can
if
better
someone,
control us
somewhere,
and
abuses the power of
predict our
information and surveillance
behaviors
to target an innocent person in the
and
wrong
also
place at the
steer
wrong
us in the
time.
way they want. What
To
do
be
you
sure,
guys
the
think about
power that
that?
these technologies give for
And I'll let you
agencies
guys listen.
or corrupt groups within those agencies to destroy the lives of targeted individuals
While
is itself a
I
fitting
look at
answer
what
to
you
the
guys have
question
to
of
say.
why government surveillance should be troubling to us. But beyond what can happen to specific targeted individuals in such a scenario is a much larger question.
Targeted individual I am,
What if
for
this
sure.
data, our emails, our phone calls, our credit card transactions, our social media posts, our cell phone GPS logs, and all of the hundreds of other pieces of data that are admittedly being collected on us each and every day, were being fed into a database so gargantuan it contains a digital version of every single person on the planet? And what if that database were being used by the Department of Defense to war-game various scenarios, from public reactions to natural disasters, to the likelihood of civil unrest in the wake of a declaration of martial law? Remarkably, this is precisely what is happening.
Yeah, what the hell? Right, yeah.
It is called the Sentient World Simulation. The program's aim, according to its creator, is to be a continuously running, continually updated mirror model of the real world that can be used to predict and evaluate future events and courses of action. In practical terms, that equates to a computer simulation of the entire planet, complete with billions of nodes representing every person on the Earth. The project is based out of Purdue University in Indiana at the Synthetic Environment for Analysis and Simulations Laboratory. It is led by Alok Chaturvedi, who in addition to heading up the Purdue lab also makes the project commercially available via his private company, Simulex Inc., which boasts an array of government clients, including the Department of Defense and the Department of Justice, as well as private sector clients like Eli Lilly and Lockheed Martin. Chaturvedi's ambition is to create reliable forecasts of future world events based on imagined scenarios. In order to do this, the simulations gobble up breaking news, census data, economic indicators, and climactic events in the real world, along with proprietary information such as military intelligence. Although not explicitly stated, the very type of data on digital communications and transactions now being gobbled up by the NSA, DHS, and other government agencies make ideal data for creating reliable models of every individual's habits, preferences, and behaviors that could be used to fine-tune these simulations and give more reliable results. Using this data, the SEAS laboratory and its Sentient World Simulation offshoot are able to create detailed, operable real-time simulations of at least 62 nations. The Iraq and Afghanistan computer models, according to a 2007 Register report on the project, each has about 5 million individual nodes representing things such as hospitals, mosques, pipelines, and people.
Wow, they represent
At the time of initial reports on the program 5 years ago, there were only 62 country-level simulations being run by the U.S. Department of Defense.
Only?
These simulations grouped humans into composites, with 100 individuals acting as a single node. But already at that time, the U.S. Army had used the systems to create a one-to-one level simulation of potential
one
Army
node
recruits.
for every human. They have
The ultimate
like
aim would be
8
to
billion
archive
nodes.
enough data
Even
on each
China,
individual
they have
to be
everyone
able to make a computer
represented.
model of everyone on the planet, one that could be used to predict the behaviors and reactions of every single person in the event of
And
various
that's what
scenarios.
they've been doing the past 7 years.
The program can be used to predict what would happen in the event of a
It
large-scale
really is.
tsunami, for example.
It's exactly
or how
what
people
it
would
is.
react during a bioterror attack.
Mickey.
Businesses can use the models to predict how a new product would fare in the market, what kind of marketing plans would be most effective, or how best to streamline a company's organization. The original concept paper for the project was published in 2006, and in 2007 it was reported that both Homeland Security and the Defense Department were already using the system to simulate the American public's reaction to various crises. In the intervening 5 years, however, there has been almost no coverage at all of the Sentient World Simulation, or its progress in achieving a model of the Earth. There is a very good chance that these types of systems are, at least for the moment, pure quackery. Computers are only as valuable as their programming, after all, and the algorithms required to accurately predict responses in chaotic systems with multiple dimly understood variables is orders of magnitude beyond what is currently possible. Or is it? One of the great ironies of our time, as Glenn Greenwald goes on to point out in his speech on the surveillance state, is that although we live in a time when it is possible for nebulous government agencies to know every detail of your life, from what you ate for breakfast to where you shopped last night to who your friends are, we are also living in an age of unprecedented ignorance about what our own governments are actually doing.
But one other point that's worth making about how this works, about how the surveillance state works and how power is exercised through it, and this, I think, is probably the most pernicious part, and I refer to this as the one-way mirror, the government's one-way mirror. At exactly the same time, this is really so remarkable to me, at exactly the same time that the government has been massively expanding its ability to know everything that we're doing, it has simultaneously erected a wall of secrecy around it that prevents us from knowing anything that they're doing.
This is the heart of the matter. Somehow we are expected to go along with the sophomoric sophism that if we have nothing to hide, then we have nothing to fear. Yet at the same time, we are asked to believe that the government must keep all manner of information secret from the public in order to carry out its work of protecting that public. If the government has nothing to hide, then why doesn't it release the notes, memoranda, and findings of the 9/11 Commission in full and unredacted? Why doesn't it release the records of the JFK assassination instead of arguing, as it is, that those records should once again be removed from a declassification review that's to take place in 2013, 50 years after the assassination itself took place?
Well, speaking of 9/11, the
Why doesn't it release the full
2.3
audit trail
trillion
of what
missing.
banks received the emergency
Or
torch
the
funds
4 trillion
and what
during the
amounts?
bailout, like it says.
Is it because,
altogether,
after all,
that's
the government does
$6.3
have something
trillion
to hide from the
dollars,
public
at
that is
least.
its ostensible master? Is it because the old maxim that knowledge is power is more true than we could ever know, and that the government's one-way insistence on transparency for the citizens
Like a third of the
and
national
opacity for
debt right
itself
there in those
is a
two
reflection
things.
of the power that it holds over us?
The banks.
The Sentient World simulation is just one example of one program run by one company for various governmental clients.
Biggest
But
gangsters in the world.
it is a significant peek behind the curtain at what those who are really running our society want. Complete control over every facet of our lives, achieved through a complete invasion of everything that was once referred to as privacy. To think that this is the only such program that exists, or even that we have any significant details about the ways that the SWS has already been used, would be hopelessly naive. So where does this leave a public that is at such a disadvantage in this information warfare? A public that is effectively told that anything and everything they do,
I have a
say,
twin.
or buy can and will be cataloged by the
It's
AI
actually
control
not
grid,
funny, but it
even
is.
as the details of that grid are to be kept from them. Unfortunately, there's no easy way back from the precipice that we were ushered towards with the creation of the National Security
Mickey,
State
I
and the
couldn't
passage
agree
of the
more.
National Security Act of 1947. Perhaps we've already stepped over that precipice, and there is no going back in the current political paradigm. These are things
Oh no,
for an informed,
it is a twin,
aware,
Sunshine
knowledgeable
State.
citizen
It is.
to decide through a societal
Especially,
dialogue over the nature
you gotta
of
remember,
and importance
even
of
this broadcast is a little bit outdated as far as what he's saying. You do have a twin out there in the Sentient World simulation.
in counteracting it.
It's a node, but it's basically everything you are, that node is.
BoilingFrogsPost.com.
Not to scare you,
On
but
this and other topics, please go to BoilingFrogsPost.com. For more information and commentary from James Corbett, please go to CorbettReport.com.
okay. Alright. So now that we kind of touched on those things, let's see. Okay. Just get this. Should be like this. Alright. 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 So let me show you some of this stuff. That first of all, let me just check breaking news. I want to make sure nothing crazy went on. Let me just check this real quick. So, gun right activists swarm Virginia's Capitol for Second Amendment rally. Security measures heightened as thousands head to Richmond. Over 30 Florida local governments sue state, seek ability to regulate firearms. You know, it's straight out of Broward County. Most of Florida isn't about that. Although they did have a shooting down there, so Virginia gun sales near 30-year high as demonstrators descend on Richmond. DJ Spiker, Virginia's gun control bills dangerous. This is how they fit into a nationwide effort. Let's see. Democrats losing battle. Americans tuned out to 2020 Dems. I agree. And you know what? I want the Dems to put forth the best candidate possible. I thought it would be Tulsi Gabbard, but it seems like I just don't. She doesn't seem to be making the top. You know, you got two billionaires buying their way there. Bloomberg has some interest, but Steyer, he's had the least interest of everybody. It's just that he's a billionaire, so he gets to hang around. I mean, if that's what the Democrats got, along with Pocahontas and, you know, and I used to like Elizabeth Warren. I mean, Elizabeth Warren was a Republican before. Like, when I was a Democrat, she was a Republican. You know, and then it kind of switched. I used to like Bernie, but it's just too radical. The socialism, that won't work in this country. So what's left? Biden, with all the corruption he's been caught in. I mean, it might be Buttigieg, but then again, when you look at it, whoever wins out between Biden and Sanders, they're most likely going to get the other one's votes. And it looks like right now, it's going to be Biden. I mean, I'm sorry, Sanders. And Sanders will get Elizabeth Warren's votes. If he's smart, he'll have Tulsi Gabbard as the vice president. And I think it's going to be Sanders, Gabbard, Tulsi Gabbard. That'll be the ticket. And, you know, I want the best ticket possible because I'm a patriot. And I want Trump to win. But at the same time, you know, just in case something happens, you know, you never know. You know, they might try to take him out. I don't even want to say that, but what if they try to take him out? You know, Pence doesn't exactly align with my views. You know, so you do want a good candidate from the other side. You don't want them to beat Trump, but I don't think anyone's going to beat Trump. So I'd rather the best candidate possible from the other side. Oh yeah, that defensive play, Super Bowl. It's gonna be a great Super Bowl. Tim Tebow, Miss Universe 2017. What a role model, by the way, Tim Tebow. So they got married. The royal. This is the only family. Okay. So it looks like nothing big. Trump touts low African American employment and Martin Luther Day came. Something about Auschwitz. What was that? I just want to make sure there's nothing significant, and I'm going to take you through some of the things that I think they're trying to distract you from that also tie directly into what's going on in Virginia today. Just give me 1 sec. The computer, as you can see, is low battery. Hold on. So plug this in. All right. House impeachment calls for call Trump framers' worst nightmare come to life in new brief. Why wasn't Auschwitz bombed like the Allies? New doc explores possible answers. That sounds pretty interesting. Like, why didn't they bomb them? You know, I mean, I guess they don't want to kill the people there, but then again, I mean, what they were going through, you know, there's ways of, I don't know. All right, so I'm just gonna get myself in the picture at least. All right. So, what now? What now? Okay. So I just want to make sure nothing crazy is going on, and I'm sure you guys will let me know if something does. Um, I agree, Lloyd. Okay. So, wow, it looks like the viewers are going down a little bit. Too bad, because the best stuff is here right now. So, where are we in the stream? We are 2 hours and 8 minutes in. So basically, you know, 2 hours and 10 minutes in is when, although the sentient world simulation is very interesting, it's where things start to get very interesting. So, here's Richmond, by the way, where it's located. Now, the reason I show you that is this. Oh, wait, that's not the... This is some real interesting stuff. I don't even know which way to start. So basically, all of this news that I'm about to show you is centered down and around basically the south, southeast in particular. So we'll be going over all that. Oh yeah, so let me show you guys. This is why I brought up that. So let me just, this is a good segue. All right, so because he brings up that division, and I think it's for a reason. Twitter's down. Twitter is down. Oh, all right. Well, I know it's been spotty today all day. I keep getting little things like that. I will never allow our great Second Amendment to go unprotected, not even a little bit. All right. And it was exactly 3 years ago today, January 20th, that I was sworn into office. So appropriate that today is also Martin Luther King Day. African American employment is the lowest in the history of our country by far. Also, best poverty, youth, all those things. Thank you. 51% approval rating. This is what I mean. I'm not worried about him losing this election. I'm worried about them trying to do something and taking the bipartisan elected, duly elected president away from us. 95% approval rating in the Republican Party. And that breaks a record, by the way. So okay, so that's about all I got on that. So all right, let's see here. So also we spoke last night about the two Honolulu officers that were killed. It's now being said, but they were saying he was at large all night. It's now being said that he was in the fire and perished in the fire. Now, I don't know if they're going to say he shot himself and then burned, but somebody who seems to be as skilled as this man, I think he'd be smart enough. And when I say skilled, it's just, I'm not rooting for the guy. It's obvious the guy had some training and some skills. But I don't think he'd be the type, and burning alive, as basically anyone does, is a horrible way to go. And I don't think that that would be his way to choose to go. It lays more credence to my original theory that he didn't set the fire to smoke them out. Because once they take out one of your own, same thing happens in the military, like in Afghanistan. I remember after two, they were actually soldiers were killed. A couple special forces, along with a couple other soldiers, kind of went and did their thing. Or a couple of times when something that they do a lot, the Taliban does in Afghanistan a lot, is burn children with acid that have been friendly with the American troops. And the American troops, yeah, they get them and they kill them, and they do it slow. So, I just talk about these things because, okay, you know what? Here we go. So here's some. Now this is all stuff going on right beneath our noses. That's all connected. So the Air Force's Global Lightning program will test all SpaceX Starlink satellites. Now, if that sounds familiar, maybe because it is. If you guys remember the Boeing Starlink that was supposed to make it up to a international space station and fell short of its target, which right away I first of all I got confirmation from a source that that wasn't the case. Second of all, I it didn't hit my ears right anyway, and I can tell you that no, that was supposed to not make it to the space station, and it was supposed to end up in orbit of our Earth, and I thought it had something to do with taking out Soleimani. However, the source also told me that it didn't. So maybe this is what it had to do with. So SpaceX was awarded to a $28 million contract from the United States Air Force Research Laboratory to test and assess Starlink satellites, like the one sent by Boeing that we had talked about ad nauseum before, during, and after the Soleimani hit. To test and assess Starlink satellites by connecting their broadband internet to military platforms. They also awarded millions to several different satellite communication companies, including terminal and software developers. The U.S. military wants to experiment with how space-based internet services might enhance, now not for us, but it might enhance their multi-domain operations, MDO. Official stated. We're not focused just on any one company. Our intent is to characterize the performance and understand the pros and cons of all the commercial systems when used on military platforms. So don't get this twisted that it's for civilian use. This is all about, military weaponry and communication and, basically being able to even code breaking or lack of the enemy's ability to code break or simply even intercept your messages, which is of vital importance in the day and age we live in today. These MDO operations will require moving vast quantities of data between the 5 domains of warfare: at sea, in the air, in outer space, and cyberspace. Therefore, the military needs a reliable communication system to protect and defend the country from potential threats. Space-based internet is faster and more reliable. Let me get this bigger for you guys, because I know I have me on the side. You know what? Maybe I'll take me out of it and check comments quick. Oh wow, the fun is just beginning too. um I like that. All right. So again, to remind people, we're talking about the the Starliner right now. Oops. Oops, 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 oops. Where'd I go? What did I do? Okay. Let me get us back to where. Okay. A SpaceX satellite can beam internet connectivity at the speed of light from space, unlike fiber optic cables, which run basically like under the ocean. Actually, that's how, if you remember that Russian sub went down, it's because they were trying to break into our cables. And they ended up dying, and Russia kind of gave them like they saved the world type of burial. And we'll never find out the full truth, but from what I heard and from what I studied and from a source, yeah, they were trying to tap into those cables, these fiber optic underground cables, which is why it's important to have this stuff in space. And ground antennas, towers that tend to lag. So SpaceX designed Starlink to connect end users. Again, this is military, not civilian, with low latency, high bandwidth broadband services, providing continual coverage around the world using a network of thousands of satellites. In low Earth orbit. SpaceX is in the process of building the Starlink constellation, which will provide low latency broadband internet services to all over the world. The company aims to offer high speed, affordable internet to everyone, not just military, even places where there is no internet connectivity. And I'm sure that 5G will help this along. And where existing services are not reliable or too expensive, they will surround Earth with a mega constellation consisting of 12,000 satellites. These will beam high-speed internet all over the planet. Each satellite is a flat panel with a single solar array that unfolds upwards. Its size is relatively small compared to other satellites, about the size of an office desk, but weighing about 500 pounds. According to SpaceX CEO Elon Musk, it will take about 400 satellites to establish minor internet coverage and 800 satellites for moderate or significant operational coverage. Each rocket launch of 60 satellites would deliver 1 terabyte of bandwidth that could potentially support 40 ultra-high definition content at once. Global coverage will be achieved after 24 rocket launches of each. They aim to conduct all 24 launches this year. Wow. In 2020. SpaceX has successfully deployed this. The world is a changing, I'll tell you that. SpaceX has successfully deployed 120 satellites into low Earth orbit. The first batch of 60 Starlink satellites was launched in May this year. And the second batch, that's the one that we were talking about. Oh, no, that's not the one we did. Then the second batch of 60 in November. They are scheduled to launch a third batch of 60 satellites next week. And that's actually the one that just went off. Monday night's launch will transform SpaceX into the company. Anyways, I will read this part. The Department of Defense public announcement states that SpaceX proposes to perform experiments in early versions of a commercial space data relay service and mobile connectivity directly from space to aircraft. And that's the strato tanker for the U.S. Air Force right there. So that's that. All right, let's see. The next experiment will begin this year by spring. It will be a test conducted in coordination with the Air Mobility Command that aims to connect all the available Starlink satellites, like the one that supposedly failed, to a KC-135 tanker aircraft. All right. So, and by the way, Starlink satellites were seen over Montana last night. Just so you guys know, we're not gonna read this. I just want to basically show you the headline. Yeah, they were seen over Montana last night. Oh, I'm sorry. This is so basically they were seen over Montana on Christmas. Look at that. That's them. And this is on Christmas. This is on Christmas night. You could see them over Montana. I would, and they probably all like, kind of like moving at the same pace in the same direction. It almost probably looks like a UFO. But you got to beware that whole UFO thing because I'm sure you guys have heard it from many different places. But that is something that they're trying to push, and there's a reason they're trying to push it. That could be one of the last. Oh, by the way, all right. So remember we were talking about Iran and Q talking about how days after Iran that there would be a Kenya attack. Well, it wasn't Iran that got it back. It was Kenya. Remember that? Well, we knew about the attack. If you guys remember, I was very surprised at how they were, especially when they spoke about what type of it was fire. And they were able to do all of this damage to our embassy in Kenya. And that just blew me away with all of our power and technology and, being able to predict things. I think that they let this happen to this stage. One sec. Sorry about that. Important phone calls. All right. So as we see here, I was very surprised by the damage, and you guys are gonna see what I mean. Iran. I mean, our troops knew that and the Ayatollah, they had spoken, and he basically let them know, okay, we're good, so that they can save face, making sure that no Americans die. Although when you hear it from the soldiers, they actually explain a whole. I think it was the 82nd Airborne that was sent there, and they explain it as like, basically lucky. So I kind of tend to over the propaganda, obviously, and they were pretty lucky. There was some real close misses. All right, so an attack on a military outpost in Kenya, where U.S. troops are stationed, as well as its associated airfield, has left the U.S. and 2 contractors dead, and 6 aircraft and helicopters damaged or destroyed. And I'm still scratching the surface. I like the crazy stuff, just so you guys know.